This is Daddy Show. Step off.
It's time for the main event.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is Tom Clark's main event. I actually beat it this time. Not bad. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Happy Friday to you. How's everyone doing out there today? I'm doing effing great, man. Thought I was going to work blue for a second, didn't you? I don't do that. But we worked blue in the most recent episode of the 6M podcast. I had to slap an explicit label on that sucker. Believe that. But it's all good. If you've never subscribed or have never listened to the 6M podcast, boy, are you doing life wrong, I submit. Go check it out. Movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. We recently did a watch along with The Big Lebowski. Go subscribe and download that sucker. It was awesome. I had a ton of fun on a Sunday hanging out with some cool dudes. Much cooler than I am. We're going to welcome back one today. We hope you guys are doing great, man. I noticed the audience on Fridays have been struggling just a bit. We may eventually have to pick a new day, if I'm being honest. I can't do the 12 at noon Friday gig that I used to do because, you know, work beckons. We may even actually move this to a Saturday show at some point. I'll let you know what I come up with. I'll let you know what I figure out. In the meantime, and by the way, it's Memorial Day weekend, so we may be dealing with a smaller audience than usual. And if that's the case, so be it. Folks is driving and folks is flying. I'm not doing either one. These things take money, and I'm busted. I'm not busted, but I am, yeah. Listen, I'm a starving artist over here, kids. Can't you tell? Good Lord, help a brother out. Let's say hello to Tim. What's up, Tim? How are you doing, my friend? What do I want to talk about? Are you kidding me? There's so much stuff to talk about. Jamel in Vegas. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Listen, let's don't waste any more time here today. We got stuff to talk about. We got a big weekend of pro wrestling excitement, action, intrigue, drama. I was going to say espionage. Why not? Loads of stuff in the pipeline. We can't wait to talk about it. But now I'm going to introduce my guest. He's joined me recently here on the main event. He was also appeared on the 6M podcast. However, you probably know him from the Untitled Wrestling podcast. That's right. He is, he's better than Jon Moxley. He's tougher than Andre the Giant, right? He is the modern age barbarian. Conan, eat your heart out. I'll do better for you, Jay. I'll come up with something better. I used to be really good just riffing. But you know what I think it is? Jay's sitting there going, put me on camera, idiot. I tell you what I think it is. I think it becomes Friday and I'm mentally shot. I am shot to pieces and I got nothing left. We're going to go with that. Ladies and gentlemen from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast, please welcome back to the show a good friend of the program, Mr. Jay Luff. What's up, Jay? How are you?
Hello, I am very good. I've just finished recording our own podcast, so my brain is also like yours.
I'm jelly at this point. It's jelly.
Scrambled eggs.
Dude, it's real. It's real. I used to be so good at riffing just off on the fly, and I can't riff anymore. But I'll tell you what I have on one of my screens is the Blackpool Combat Club promo from Wednesday. And Bryan Danielson could not stop smiling because he's standing beside Moxley, and in his head, he's going, my God, John's awesome. Did you catch that when he kept smiling? He kept looking down, and I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, he did a little Regal reference as well, didn't he, on commentary?
He did. Man in the Mask.
A few. Yeah, Man in the Mask, and then he said that's why Regal got us so tough or something like that.
Yeah. Kids, while you're here, if you will, please say hello to Jay. Jay, you know the kids. Everybody, please make him feel welcome. Folks, if you will, smash the like button for me. Share this video on your page. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it, Jay and I would. Tim says, welcome back, Jay.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Today's Ray All Day's birthday. And where is Ray All Day Pray tell. I'll get it. Someone go tell Ray the show's on. My God in heaven. All right, look, let's get into this. We are going to talk. We've already seen a comment about Night O Champions. We will talk about Night O Champions, but I want to kick the show off with AEW Double or Nothing. You know how we roll here on the program, folks. We're going to talk about some All Elite Wrestling because I want to get my guests' thoughts on this. Find out what you think about the card. First off, Jay, you and I, for your show, did an all-in prediction. I guess you could call it booking the AEW card. First of all, do me a favor. Tell everybody about your show, and then talk about the AEW all-in fantasy cards you've been doing on your show.
Yes, so we are the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. We do a weekly podcast, just kind of mainly talking about AEW because that's what we all kind of watch. But we do like dip our toe into other stuff as well. I've got a series that I'm running at the moment that is essentially me and a guest every week. I get them to book the card they want to see for a pay-per-view. At the moment, it's all in. There is going to be a new one starting after Forbidden Door, so in about a month's time, which I'm going to be announcing soon. So the all-in one, Tom's one, is out a week Monday. And it's essentially just getting Tom to book all in, tell me the card that he wants to see. And it's very fun. I've really enjoyed doing the series. It's something a little bit different from what we normally do. We are also going to be putting out our predictions video for Double or Nothing tomorrow, provided I get it edited in time. But yeah, it's been fun doing a lot of coverage on that recently, to be honest.
Very cool. I had a blast doing that show, man. It was my first time on your show.
It was.
That was cool. I appreciated you having me. Very fun stuff. So Ray's not going to be here. He's given his weekly question to Tim. This is how committed Ray is. Tim, don't hit me with it yet. Isn't that funny?
I nearly wore my Adam Cole shirt for Ray today as well. I saw it was his birthday. I was like, right, I'll go get that. I didn't. I'm wearing my best friend's shirt, but maybe it's a sign.
Wow, there you go. Jamila says, hello, Nancy. Nancy, what's up, my dear? Nancy's a fan. Look at that. All right. Let's get to this card because I'm anxious to hear. First of all, before we get into the specifics of the card, as I said, you and I, because I got sidetracked, you and I did that AW fantasy booking for All In the lovely country of England. Let's talk about this card because you and I both said we were kind of looking 2 shows down the road.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into Double or Nothing? Are you amped up? Are you excited for this one? I mean, or is it just sort of I can't wait to get to the other show?
I'm more excited now. I've done like my predictions video for it. Like talking about it to other people always kind of gets you a bit more of a buzz, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I think they did a really good job this week on Dynamite of building it up as well, to be fair. I haven't, obviously, Rampage isn't out yet, but I assume there's probably going to be a little bit more build towards it there. But I think they've done a good job. I think it's just the thing AEW seems to always do is just build up, like put the build up into like kind of overdrive the last like 2-3 weeks before the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm a lot more excited now than I was when we were recording All In for sure.
I hear you. Tim says Ray is at Double or Nothing right now. Well, that's awesome. Ooh. He may have told me that and I didn't remember. I mean, just by what you're saying here, right now, as it stands right now, there are 10 matches on the card for Double or Nothing, and there are 7 advertised for tomorrow night's show. But as we both know, the other company, WWE, tends to add stuff online. It doesn't announce it on TV or announces it the same night. And you're like, wait a minute. How long was this match booked? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a much bigger card because they've flew out a lot more people than have been announced.
There you go. All right. So, in no particular order, let's talk about the 6-man tag team championship match for the AEW World Trios Championship. The House O Black, Malachi Black, of course, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart, who is like my favorite person at the moment. 21 years old. Are you kidding me? Versus the Acclaimed, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, former AEW World Tag Team Champions, with badass or daddy ass Billy Gunn. How are we feeling about this match, other than the fact that the Acclaimed are awesome and they're fun? I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about this?
I mean, talk about polar opposites, the House of Black and the Acclaimed. Like, as you say, the Acclaimed are like fun-loving. They have a laugh, and then House of Black are just there to hurt people. I'm really looking forward to this because it's one of those things that they've kind of like been building away from each other, but you can see that they're like primed for a collision. The fact that it's happening this soon, I thought it was probably going to happen after Double or Nothing. I'm not complaining. Really excited for this one. I think just the idea of seeing Bones tearing it up with Malachi Black is just really exciting to me.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, yeah. Jeffrey says he hates the Acclaimed. Jeffrey, everyone loves the Acclaimed.
Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
He set me up. I had to take it. So I was going to ask you who you're picking here. I'm sure you're going with House of Black. Yeah. I assume.
Yeah, the house always wins.
There you go.
I think with the new house rules that they've just introduced, it would be foolish to take the belt off them right now when there's so much more they can get out of this.
Speaking of house rules, what do you think about the funky lighting that we saw Wednesday night? Are you a fan of that?
I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I didn't like it as much on Wednesday, where it was like the crowd, you could see the crowd a bit more. I thought it was awesome the first time they did it, where like it was just like you could only see the silhouettes of the wrestlers like fighting at ringside. But I understand why they lit it up more at ringside so the crowd can see and like sort of react to it a bit more. But I think it's cool because it makes it stand out, and it's subtle enough that it's not like a complete distraction.
Wasn't the first time they did it compared to the whole Bray Wyatt Kane thing, and then this time felt more creative to me. It felt more experimental. I mean, do you consider that a WWE thing to light the crowd that way?
So we spoke about this the first time they did it, and it was more a case of with WWE, it's always kind of been like the thing that always kind of comes to me is the Fiend lighting, where it was like that really over the top red light, and it was so distracting. It was hard to watch it. Same with the Sin Cara lighting as well, the blue and gold. That was made it really difficult to watch. This it was nuanced in the way that it was obviously the spotlight was on the ring, but then everything else was blacked out. So it was a little bit harder to see what was at ringside, especially for the people in the crowd, but it wasn't distracting in the sense where it's like all I can think about is this lighting.
That's fair. So who do you think takes the belts from House of Black? Or should we not talk about that for another 6 months to a year? Because I happen to love these guys with those titles.
I think they're holding them. Hopefully till the end of the year. I can see them maybe dropping them around full gear. Potentially at All In. There's the potential to do, obviously. Well, there's two British guys in trios at the moment who could potentially take the belts off the house, which is obviously Death Triangle. And the other one, which I kind of want to see more, is Kip Sabian and the Butcher and the Blade. Because I really like the dynamic they've got.
I think Butcher and Blade need those tag belts at some point. I don't think you can keep those guys at, the bridesmaid forever. I think they need to eventually get a serious crack at those titles.
Yeah, agreed.
Nancy White with a great question. And Jay, you and I both assume that Pac will be at All In. I know that this company, unlike others, right, allows its talent to work elsewhere, with exceptions, right? But has he worked anywhere that I've not heard of? Is he injured? Do you have a story on Pac right now?
I don't know anything about an injury, and as far as I know, he's not worked anywhere. When he was All Atlantic champion before it became international, he was doing like indie shows around the UK defending the belt. He hasn't done anything, as far as I'm aware. He hasn't wrestled since like February, so maybe there is an injury. I know sometimes he's had visa issues, which have kind of prevented him from being over there. Could just be one time off. I do think that if we don't see Pac back by Forbidden Door, we'll definitely have him back for All In.
I think it would be crazy to imagine All In without him being there. I just don't see that. I think, of course, and look, it's like this here in the States when you got a guy in his hometown. But like you put anybody, that's English on that card over there, dude. Of course they're going to get a pop. Why not? And I mean, everyone knows how effing good Pac is. Pac is one of the scariest looking individuals I've ever seen. Like you could put him in one of those, what's that show, Vikings? You could put him in either one of those shows and he would fit right in. He just looks medieval and grimy, and dude, he's so good. Wasn't it him? Was it him and Buddy at Mania that year in the pre-show? I think.
Was it not Austin Aries?
Maybe it was. Ooh.
He did have a really good match with Buddy in the qualifiers for the All Atlantic though last year.
Yes, he did. He did. Yeah.
That could have gone longer as well, which was a shame that it didn't, but still very fun.
True. Yeah, we don't want to talk about the other guy. Again, as I say, in no particular order, let's go to a not that this match wasn't big, but a big time match. Adam Cole, baby, versus Chris Jericho. This is unsanctioned match. And out of the blue, from out of nowhere, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, Sabu is the special guest enforcer.
This was completely random.
Is it too random, Jay?
I think it might be a little bit, yeah. So I've got a theory that obviously because Jericho had the whole thing of throwing a fireball in people's faces, and Sabu's been known to do things with fire a few times, I feel like he might fireball Jericho to cost him the match.
Let me ask you a question. Why exactly was that never even mentioned by commentary Wednesday night? What shouldn't that have been? You just connected more dots, I think, than they did.
I think Taz was like genuinely shocked that Sabu was there.
Yeah.
But I would have thought Excalibur would have done it, unless maybe they wanted to kind of be the surprise thing, which is about Sabu just like fireballs Jericho.
Yeah. I love Sabu. The thing about me with Sabu, it's not. I mean, he's scarred up. God, he's so scarred up. And the thing about me that gets me for him is not so much the impact, not so much. Honestly, what gets me about him has always been the fact that when he puts that chair down at the ropes, he's gone. And it's this idea of it's so fast, like he's physically looking down and then runs the ropes and dives off. And I'm like, I think I might need a little bit more time let me get a pen and paper. Let's draw this out. Let me take some measurements. Like that to me is the most brazen, the most death-defying. Again, the leap, of course, the leap, kids. But dude, Jay, for me is that if you watch him, go back and watch. As soon as that, he's gone. The moment the chair's down. And to me, for 20 plus years, that's blown my mind that he's got that much confidence in his own footwork and where he is in the ring, and the dude that's going to catch him, like that's mind blowing to me. I can't get over that. Who's winning this match?
I think that this is the one I'm most kind of unsure about. So I think Cole should win it because I feel like he's the next person to challenge MJF. And he's the most logical person to challenge MJF next as well. So Cole beating Jericho would kind of solidify that. At the same time, because it's an unsanctioned match, that could be their kind of out to have Adam Cole lose a match but not lose any kind of momentum because it's not recognized, it's unsanctioned.
And you know, you and I were talking before, I think it was on your show, about the whole Jericho thing, about how people give him a hard time about not putting people over. But, you know, Cole's a veteran who doesn't necessarily need to win this feud. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he needs to win this?
I feel like there's a lot of stock in Adam Cole right now since he come back, and they're trying to solidify him as a main eventer because he did kind of drift away from the main event a little bit. And it's one of those things, and it's Adam Cole. He doesn't need to beat anybody, but you could say the same thing about Chris Jericho.
True. Yeah, dude. I think if Cole doesn't win this, then they're going 3 matches, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they're. Of course, having said that, if Jericho wins and they go 3, then technically speaking, Cole needs to win 2 in a row. And I don't know if they'll do that with the babyface. I mean, maybe they could. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes with this company, with the best of 3 feuds, and for me, the math doesn't always add up sometimes, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Ethan Page and the Guns versus Dim Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt and Hook, in a 6-man tag team match. If the Hardys and Hook win, Matt Hardy will own Ethan Page's contract. Did you see the firm deletion?
I did. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, it's just crazy, wasn't it? Just
crazy.
anything with Stokely Hathaway is going to be good. That man could just be like reading a newspaper and commenting on it. I'd find it funny. So the fact that he was just getting beaten up by kids in this was just hilarious.
I found it funny that did they even mention the firm deletion that much on TV? I don't think they did.
They haven't yet, no. They kind of had like Ethan Page showing up looking shook, talking to the Guns, asking for help, but that was about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they don't have any more press on that, so to speak. So we assume the Hardys are going to win. At that point, shouldn't we be done with the whole Matt Hardy's easily duped, but he's not, and he's kind of on the fence? Because then we're talking about Matt and Jeff as a tag team. Do we take off after this point with Matt and Jeff as the Hardys going after belts at that point?
I can see the Hardys going into a feud with the Guns from this. Just the Hardys versus the Guns, because the Guns have been teasing us for quite some time. They've been saying they're the best brother tag team. Things like that. I think the Hardys will go into a feud with the Guns from this, and then from that go after the tag titles. Maybe at All In or All Out.
Those all shows get confusing.
Yeah.
Dude, I think the Hardys could do great things for the Guns. I love the Guns. I don't, they're
excellent.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're upside, and they need to keep coming out to the 50 Cent tune that they did at the pay-per-view, because that should be their new theme song. That was awesome. So yeah, I'm all for that. Look, I love Matt and Jeff, and I hopefully, as I said, this will be, and in all due respect to the firm, at sometimes, at times it's a little too goofy for me, but it's not to suggest that everyone here is not working hard, because they absolutely are. This match is going to be good, dude. Let me ask you a question. Is Ethan Page maybe lost in the shuffle at times? Because he's very good. Do we kind of forget how good he is? And maybe.
Yeah, I feel like this could kind of be what starts creating a star out of Ethan Page. Like it's a good kind of like jumping off point. Like he's done this whole feud. this is a good kind of way to sort of refresh the character, having whether that's having him feuding with whoever's the international champion after this. Potentially, if Wardlow retains, have him feud with the TNT Championship. He's good kind of at that level at the moment, sort of thing, just to boost him up again. He's a guy I can see main event for AEW. I really can. He's tremendously talented. He just needs the right kind of creative, I think, at the moment.
He's in great shape too. You see some of his earlier work, and he's got he's a little bit more bulky, but I think he looks really good right now. So let's see. Nancy points out he was good. He was in TNA with Josh Alexander.
Oh, the North are one of my favorite tag teams. I'm still annoyed we haven't got the North versus FTR.
That's right. Yeah. Tim says Ethan Page gets lost sometimes. He's a good talent. Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the AEW TBS Championship. Jade Cargill defending against Taya Valkyrie. Does Taya win the belt? What do you think?
I am really, really torn on this. I think Taya's going to win it because they've kind of done the whole Road to Valhalla thing, and it makes sense for Taya to beat Jade. At the same time, I think they should have pulled the trigger on Athena. She was the perfect person to take it off Jade. The Statlander, she'd be a great person to take it off Jade. Every time I think maybe this is the time Jade loses, she retains. So it's one of those things, like, it could go either way. Personally, if I'm like booking it, I'd have her lose it by not getting pinned, so then she can go straight after the women's championship. But I'm not booking it, so that's a Tony Khan choice, that one.
you can book it. It's fine. We don't care. It'll be okay. Nancy says no, she doesn't. I think they're holding out for someone bigger. This is the same question, Jay, you and I have discussed recently.
Yes.
With the exception of Mercedes. There's Mercedes, there's Trinity.
I mean, I guess there's Kairi.
Kairi Sane, yeah.
Forbidden Doors around the corner, isn't it? But I think
I don't know.
I think it's one of those things now where, like, whoever beats Jade, it's gonna be like a star-making performance. I don't think Taya really needs that. I mean, from that logic, neither did Athena, but I also thought that Athena should have won it based on the fact that she was just, like, red hot when she went into it.
I agree. Nancy says Tessa. No. Nope. I don't recall a time in this business when I've seen someone become damaged goods as much as Tessa Blanchard has. She is damaged goods. She is hands off, stay away. She's got the Black Plague, brother. I mean, it's crazy. And supposedly one of the wrestlers that she, like, there's a picture of them floating around the net. She's forgiven her supposedly for what she said. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, Jay, there's a reason. How many years has it been? No one's put there's a reason why people won't take a chance on it.
It's been like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But even like with that WOW, like they built the company around her, and then she dropped out of that. It's she's just like kind of as you say, damaged goods.
Mm-hmm. Timothy says, don't forget Serena Deeb is out there. It's a good point. Mm-hmm. Jeff says Taya will win one day, not this weekend, though. Have Mercedes come. What I booked for Jay's show for All In, I think Mercedes takes the belt off of her. And I think it happens either at Forbidden Door or at All In.
Depends on that ankle injury now, doesn't it?
It does, really. Yeah, jeez.
Mercedes Martinez, though, that's not a bad call because she helped her win the TBS championship.
It's true.
In the first place. So there's history there. She's just come back as well, like last week.
I mean, dude, another Mercedes. So that's the Mercedes. There's too many Mercedes here. Martinez could flat out beat me up.
Oh, she's awesome.
I'm pretty sure. To be fair, most of these guys could probably beat me up. I'm not very tough. Yeah, I hate that for Mercedes, man. I hope she gets on the mend very soon and gets back in the ring. I hate that for her. And look, nothing against Taya. I love Taya. I love that Taya is no disrespect. I love that Taya is thick. I love that she's not, slim and trim. You know what I mean? Because as we saw in the other company, not everybody can be a cookie cutter wrestler. I mean, especially for the women. And I don't mean that to sound any kind of way, but if you have, 10 women on your roster, and they're all blonde hair, blue eyed, and they all weigh the same, and they're all the same height. But like, that's why I love Rhea Ripley. That's why I love Mercedes Moné. That's why I love Mercedes Martinez. I love different. And Taya is very, very good. And dude, not for nothing, Jay, but I mean, every time that Jade works someone better than her, hopefully she's gleaning from that person and getting better herself.
Yeah. I think she's definitely improved a hell of a lot, like certainly in the last 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Leaps and bounds.
I agree. She's better now than she was. A year ago, I was reading comments that she's amazing, that she's awesome. I'm like, calm down. Let's calm down. But a year later, I can say that she's indeed getting better. I agree she's getting better.
I think given the fact that she's only been doing it for 2 years,
mm-hmm.
and she's as good as she is a testament to how good she's going to be as well.
Very true. Let's talk about Anarchy in the Arena. The Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Heyman Adam Page. Tell me why this is going to be the single coolest, most fun, most brutal, but yet highly entertaining match on this entire card.
Because Mox is probably out for revenge against Hangman after a Revolution. For a fact, Texas Death's been on Moxley's mind since that match. He's going to be like a dog with a bone as soon as he gets near Hangman, and every time they come together, it's magic. They've just got that kind of like sort of like chemistry that just makes it work. That being said, you just look at the talent in the whole match. The Elite are fantastic. Blackpool Combat Club are on another level right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be silly, violent fun, isn't it?
I mean, dude, if they keep everybody in the BCC happy, and I mean happy with their spots, with money, with contracts. I mean, Jay, I think we're taking a look at something in our time that's happening in front of us. And I'm not benchmarking them against the Shield or anybody. I don't care about all that. But like they could become, if they're not now, the best, most powerful, most important faction in that entire company. And one day we'll be talking about the BCC in the same breath with the Shield, with the Bullet Club, with the NWO. I mean, I don't want to see this thing fizzle out in 6 months, dude. I want to see this thing continue for another 2 years, honest to God.
And I think it will. Like, you've just got to look at the way they've kind of, since the company's inception, so 4 years, they've had Moxley and Kenny, like, kind of drifting in and out of each other's, like, sort of careers. I feel like this is kind of going to be something that's going to be, every now and again, Elite and BCC are going to cross paths, and they're going to just go to war. I think BCC are probably going to win this one. And then that's how we get to Blood and Guts, because let's face it, that's where we're going next.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it has to happen all in, and then I'll make one of my predictions correct.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah. I can't remember. My days are a blur.
I think even if it didn't happen at All In, like if it happened before All In, and then you could do Stadium Stampede at All In.
That works. Man, their gimmick matches are not bad, dude.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's go for the other women's championship match here. Jamie Hayter defending the AEW Women's World Title against Toni Storm. Not to glaze over this, but aren't we eventually, Jay, looking at Britt Baker betraying? Don't we all just assume she's eventually going to betray Jamie Hayter and face her for the title?
Yeah, I think that's the money storyline right now, isn't it? Like when they're ready to pull the trigger on that match, that's the money match in the women's division for sure.
Yeah.
That being said, apparently Jamie's injured.
Oh.
Tony Khan was very, very cagey about that in his press conference yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look past the fact that maybe they'll put the belt on Tony, let Jamie like heal up, and then have her win it back at All In.
Could be. How are we feeling about Tony so far in this company? Are you happy with her progress, what she's doing with the character, or what?
I think she started off really strong. I'll be honest, I think that she's kind of getting a little bit lost in the shuffle being as part of the Outcasts. Because she's almost like Saraya's Heater, isn't she? She's not really the focal point of that faction. It's all Saraya. And I think Tony is good enough that she doesn't need to be a part of a faction. She's a great face, she's a great heel. Whatever they give her, she makes it work. I just think that she's at risk of getting lost within the Outcast at the moment.
Yeah, I still feel, shout out to Phil Lindsay, kids. I Phil and I are differing opinions on this. He loves that little faction. I don't know if they needed Ruby, and I'm okay with them doing the whole NWO shtick. You know, they're doing the NWO shtick, and they're also rocking the DX colors. And I mean, I'm okay with it, but I don't know if I'm in love with it. I don't know. Saraya is working, but isn't she limited? She's cleared, but she's limited, isn't she? She's not gonna. You're not gonna see her working every week. So this puts her on TV, makes her a mouthpiece, gives her something to do, keeps her involved, but yet not necessarily working for a living in the ring. What kind of legs you think this faction has?
I think Saraya's great at getting herself heat. Like she's a natural heel. So as long as they're using her as the mouthpiece of it, and Tony and Ruby as the workers, they'll go far. I think one thing that AEW is really missing is women's tag titles, and this group is kind of like a sort of like a show of that. Like if they had women's tag titles, have this group kind of lock them down, and whoever isn't like in the team, whether it's Tony, whether it's Saraya, whether it's Ruby, chasing the champion. It's easy enough booking to kind of make it work. I think it's got legs, but I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Jeff says Britt makes such a good heel. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised either if it comes to that. Nancy says Britt betrays Jamie. It's coming. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Let's see. The Blackjack Battle Royal. You could probably just throw a name in a hat, and this is for the AEW International Championship. Is there any chance Orange Cassidy doesn't leave this match with the title?
I think there's a small chance, but I feel like the fact that Chuck and Trent are in there, they're there to kind of help Orange over the finish line. I firmly believe that Orange's next defense after this match will be when he loses it, whoever that's against. That being said, a conversation I had earlier was take it off Orange in this match, put it on either Jay White and Ricky Starks, and then put it into that feud, and then it kind of adds a little bit more intensity, a little bit more fire to that feud, which is not that it needs it, but it definitely feels like it needs a little bit of a kick to get it going a bit more. Because I thought like Jay White and Ricky Starks would have been a lock to go on this card.
Should the BCG Bullet Club Gold, should this become more than just a tandem? Shouldn't this become? Do you see this becoming a fully functioning stable?
Well, ELP's wearing Bullet Club Gold merch, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like ELP is going to be joining up with them at Forbidden Door. Whether he joins AEW full time, who knows? But it would make sense if at least they do like Jay Juice and ELP in some kind of trios match.
He's pretty over right now in Japan. That crowd's really taken to him.
Oh,
obviously. Awesome. Yeah, he's really good. Nancy says Orange has got to be a little tired. He's been out every week. And Nancy, therein lies the beauty of professional wrestling, because they put that over on commentary, and we as the audience at home are going, man, I bet Orange is getting a little tired. Now, if you quizzed him, chances are the man behind the character would say, I feel great. But again, the power of this silly thing that we call pro wrestling, this silly business, is enough to make you believe, man, he's beat up and he's, you know what I mean? And Nancy, that's nothing against you. That's the power of this. And like you and I talked about this the other day, Jay, the AEW International title is the most important belt in that company at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I think with Orange, so this is something we've spoke about like week in, week out on our podcast, because we at the moment we firmly think that Orange is probably going to be our wrestler of the year, because there's not many people who come close. The fact that Orange has gone from a character where he doesn't want to try to now he's trying so hard that his body's literally breaking down is a fantastic story arc. Mm-hmm. It's so simple, but it's so fun.
Yeah, and honestly, if this were happening to Japan, Jay White would be the one to come in and pick the bones like a vulture. He would be the one to do it.
Yeah.
I love Jay White. My God.
He's phenomenal.
Do you ever sit back and think of the amount of talent that sits in that locker room at any given time? It is insane.
It's a great kind of like dilemma for them to have as well.
Yeah.
Because they've got such a talented roster, and obviously people complain that, oh, not everyone's on TV all the time, but then it means you can just kind of slot in people. Like Pac, for example, he's not on TV at the moment, but you know for a fact when he comes back, it's going to mean something. Whether that's coming to just murder Orange Cassidy, or whether that's going to challenge for the trios titles against the House of Black with the Lucha Bros. Mm-hmm. Like whatever he does, it's gonna mean a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that I've really, really found that AEW have done well, in the sense that they can kind of just slot people into the card, take people off, and you don't really notice they've gone, but you still want to see more. Like Hangman was as well. He was gone for like a couple of weeks. Didn't notice he was gone, despite the fact there was no Hangman, because there was like that much other moving parts.
Are you liking the leather eye patch?
I do like the leather eye patch. It's pretty cool. Very Snake Plissken.
Very Snake Plissken. Very cowboy. It's very brown leather.
Yeah.
So yeah. Tim says maybe one day down the road we'll see the best two heels, Jay White versus MJF. I don't know how, Tim, you can do whatever you want. You can book wherever you want. Who's the face in that feud? I mean, who would?
I think MJF's over enough that he could be the face. But I do think it would just be who's the biggest arse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's going to be the most annoying out of them.
Very true. Wardlow with Arn Anderson versus Christian Cage with Luchasaurus. Why is this match happening, Jay? In a ladder match for AWT title, by the way. Why is this match happening other than they're putting off Wardlow versus Luchasaurus for another pay-per-view?
I think they're putting the belt on Christian.
Shut up.
Really?
I
think Christian would make a fantastic TNT champion.
Hmm.
And because he's got Luchasaurus there, you can have him hiding behind Luchasaurus holding his belt, saying people have to go through Luchasaurus to get to him. So when someone does beat Luchasaurus, then Christian's worried because his monster's just been beaten.
I think you sold me on it. I actually really, really like that.
I didn't think that until this afternoon when I had the conversation with Ben about it. And he said pretty much that to me. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm sold.
Dude, this TNT title business, is this belt worth anything at this point in time, you think? It's hot potato.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. If they get it on Christian, because of his schedule, they can keep it on him for a good period of time. So when he does wrestle and does defend it, it actually means something as opposed to just defending it and, oh, look, that guy's lost it, even though he's only just won it. Let's face it, it's not been the same since Miro lost it.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Miro made that belt feel like a world championship, and then Sammy was doing a good job until he got into the feud with Scorpio, and it was like, oh, never mind.
And I want to circle back to your point about how much talent's in this locker room, right? Like, it's exciting for me, and it's fun, in my opinion. I'm already thinking about who beats Christian for the title. And I think it's that fun because there's so many talented guys. If you look at WWE, do we do that? Do we already think 3 title changes down the road? And if the answer is no, to me personally, the answer is no, because they have talent. They're there. They took a plane ride to get there. But you either don't see them, you don't hear about them. They're pushed way down the card. They're never presented as anything other than the dude in the second match or the third match. They're never capitalized on. They're never getting mic time. And when they're given mic time, they obviously are reading a script. I mean, to me, it doesn't feel the same. Like, for lack of a better phrase, God, this sounds like I'm feeding in. I'm not on their payroll, I swear. It feels like the land of opportunity. It feels like there's so many guys here that at any given time, I could put you here, it makes sense. I could put you here, it makes sense. I could put her here, it makes sense. I don't see that with a lot of other companies at the moment, dude,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I remember seeing a interview with Tony Khan. It was not long after the inception of AEW. And he said, I've got my first 4 champions planned out already. And you've got to think once he'd like planned out, fulfilled that first 4, obviously the 4th was Punk. I think. Was it? No, it wasn't. Sorry, it was No, it was Punk. No, it was Hangman. Sorry, it was Hangman. And then Punk won it off Hangman, and then everything happened where it was like, oh God, what do we do? Like, you've got to think it was MJF after that, but they had to kind of go on the beaten track. But either way, there's always a plan. And let's face it, MJF's probably going to lose that back to Punk. It's the most logical storyline, if not Punk, Kenny.
Yeah, I agree.
One of those 2 guys. But it shows kind of it shows like the planning involved, and the fact that you don't need a lot of planning, you just need an idea of where you're going. You can do the rest on the way. And I feel like a lot of the time WWE are the company I'm going to use as an example purely because they're the ones who are most guilty of it. But they definitely don't plan this far ahead. They don't have a clue Roman's losing that belt to. Anyone who tells me otherwise, I'm just not going to believe them. But they don't know who he's losing the belt to. They might know who Gunther's losing the IC title to, but again, there's no sign he's going to lose it anytime soon.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that seems to be what separates them. The only belt in AEW at the moment, which feels like there's no kind of plan for, is the TNT title. I feel like Christian winning that belt is what gives it a plan.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. We've got 2 more matches on this card. FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I love everybody here. I really love me some Mark Briscoe. This feels so forced at this point for me. The thing where I accidentally gave you a pile driver and now Mark slapped him on live TV, for me, feels forced. It feels, well, of course we're going to get here. We had to get here. I don't know. I think the match will be fine.
Oh, he slapped Jarrett as well.
He did slap Jarrett. You're right. Up the ramp. Yeah.
He
pushed her.
More, yeah. It was more Mark was just done with everyone's BS.
Yeah, I get that. What ends up happening out of this match? What's the end result here?
I think it's FTR retain. Hopefully, Jarrett and Jay Lethal stay away from the title picture, because I think they're a fun team because they're so detestable. But at the same time, I don't need to see Jeff Jarrett wrestle every other week. Like, the guy's great in small doses. I love Jeff Jarrett. I've said to you when we recorded the podcast, he's like my guilty pleasure. But at the same time, I can do without seeing him wrestle every week. Especially, you've got FTR there. They've just signed Aussie Open. Mark Davis is injured. As soon as he's fit, run it back, because they've only wrestled once, to my knowledge, and it was phenomenal. And I was meant to be in the crowd for that, and there was train strikes, and I was really annoyed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had a ticket for it. Troy went. I had a ticket for it, and there was train strikes, so I had no way of getting down to London.
Wow. Jeez.
Which was very disappointing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it is AEW World Tag Team Title match. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance. Well, not any chance. I shouldn't say that. I'll be proven wrong. But Jarrett and Lethal, I just don't see it. And no disrespect to Karen Jarrett. I don't need to see her on my TV. That's me talking. It is what it is. The 4 pillars. At times feels as though this maybe 2 weeks too much with the 4 pillars talk. And again, this is me nitpicking stuff, and I don't mean to. But it almost feels like, man, if this pay-per-view had happened 2 weeks ago, it'd be perfect. Timing is great. I'm kind of ready. I don't want to say I'm ready for it to be over. I'm just kind of ready for this to come to a head. It won't be probably the last time we see it. Is there any chance MJF loses the belt in this match?
No. I think the only person who there's a mild possibility could take that belt off MJF is Darby. I feel like this feud has kind of exposed the fact that Sammy and Jungle Boy aren't quite there yet. I think this match will elevate them to that level, but I don't think either of them winning the belt is a believable scenario right now. I think MJF's going to hold it till like the end of the year anyway, because of the bidding war of 24. It's the most logical booking strategy for me. Or if he does lose it prior, then he'll win it back before the end of the year, so he's got the bargaining chip. But yeah, we'll definitely see Jungle Boy, Sammy, and Darby back in the title picture at some point. I just think that this feud was a little bit too soon, and it's kind of exposed a little bit of the weaknesses of mainly Sammy and Jungle Boy. I think Darby, because he doesn't talk much and because he's kind of got that sort of Jeff Hardy sort of charisma to him, he can get around it. But certainly the other two, I think they're gonna struggle to kind of win the crowd over on Sunday.
What do you think about those lifts, those huge boots that Darby was wearing? He was looking MJF eye to eye, which I'm sure was the idea. Like,
so So I wasn't paying attention when he came out. Because I mean, it was the time it was over here. Let's face it, it was like middle of the night when I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like half asleep. Wasn't like looking at the screen. And then I looked up and Darby was eye to eye with MJF. I was like, wait, what? Am I missing something? I thought I was just hallucinating because I was tired. And then they zoomed out and I saw the lift. It was great. I think he doesn't need to do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously that's the whole kind of charm of Darby. But at the same time, it was a cool visual for sure.
Sugar Shane says it's time for a shocker in the wrestling business. Jungle Boy wins the AEW title. Look, they can do whatever they want to do. It would be a shocker. And gosh, I don't know. It's in Vegas. I don't know.
I don't see anyone beating MJF anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, kids, there's your card. And it's the top of the hour. And we're not going to spend an hour and 30 minutes here. And I didn't want to not pay any kind of respect to Night of Champions because I know we got some mostly WWE folks watching now and after the fact. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Rhea Ripley versus Natalya for WWE SmackDown Women's title. Bianca Belair versus Asuka, WWE Raw Women's title. Gunther, hate saying that, versus Mustafa Ali, WWE Intercontinental title.
Well, that should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Mustafa Ali's great.
Yeah.
So's the other guy, Walter. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline, undisputed WWE Tag Team title match. Cody versus Brock, and Seth versus AJ, tournament final. World Heavyweight Champion. I wanted to at least mention the card. Give me one match that you're anxious to see on that card, Jay.
Probably the IC title match. I mean, Seth and AJ are going to always tear the house down, aren't they? But I really like the idea of that IC title match. I'm a huge Mustafa Ali fan, so that's probably why.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
The day that he leaves the company, and he will, when his time's up and he leaves, I can't wait for that episode of Talk is Jericho. Not because I want to hear him bash Vince. I want to hear every detail of this is what I asked. They said no. They said no here. They said no to this. They wanted me to be a 9/11 terrorist here. Whatever. I want to know everything. So yeah, can't wait to hear it.
I can't wait to see him just tear it up on the indies as well.
Oh my God.
He'll definitely show up in GCW because he's really good friends with Gringo Loco.
There you
go. Just anyone he can wrestle who's not in WWE at the moment is exciting, isn't it?
And not suggesting anything negative here, folks, but he's 37. So not the end of the world, okay? But for the style of his style, when he hits 40, look, I'm over 40. I'm just saying whatever's going to happen, in my opinion, should happen as soon as possible. We tends to not do great the older we get. But, especially if you're when you're hurling yourself at the ground for a living, that tends to speed up the aging process, I would think. There's your cards, kids. We're going to do a very quick open floor, and then we're going to get out of here. Jay's got the rest of his night to get to, and I got my evening to get to. So, Tim, if you're still here, give me Ray's question. Anybody, the floor is open. Make it quick. I'm going to do like Dusty when he got jumped in the parking lot. Make it count. Make it count. Make it good. Let's see. Jeffrey says Seth's going to win because he's on Raw. AJ just got. I don't think that means anything, Jeff. It does and it doesn't.
It would certainly be the most WWE thing to not draft someone to a brand and then have them win the title of the opposite brand. Right, here we go.
Here we go. Public Enemy or De La Soul, and part 2, Lost Boys are nice and smooth. And if Adam Cole came to your house and invited you and your family to see Air the movie with unlimited snacks and coffee and said you can bring a friend, could I join? and later wanted to take you out for shrimp and garden salad. Could I join as well? Go, Jay.
De La Soul, Lost Boys, yeah, and yeah, absolutely take the shrimp. I'm allergic, so I can't have it anyway.
I'll go Public Enemy and Lost Boys on that one. And yes, Jay, all day. Not Jay, excuse me. Yes, Ray. It's almost the same.
Almost.
Ray all day and Jay all day. See there? Yes, Ray all day. You know what's funny is that he's been on the show. He's been on the show, but I'll answer his question. One time I answered his question, and I think I did 2 parts. And so I went to the next few comments, and then he popped back up in the feed and says, "What about the last part of my question?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Like I had to legit go back because I didn't answer it fully. So I got to be sure not to do that again." So yes,
we covered everything there.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely, Ray. You can join all day. Tina, you're so late. Everyone, please shame Tina. Shame on you, Tina. You are so late. It's okay. We still love you. I do. I don't know about Jay. Jay tends to hold a grudge. Keith says Seth makes more sense because he is more over. Man, Seth's over. I mean, look, real quick, we're leading to Seth versus Roman. Maybe I'll be wrong, but
Seth should dethrone Roman.
I think so too.
Because he's the only person in that whole title reign who's beaten Roman at all. Because he got that DQ over him with the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, there again, Jay, the last dude I thought should beat him sure didn't. So what do I know? Sugar Shane says, who, in your opinion, is or was the most flamboyant wrestler in history?
I mean, Seth's getting there, isn't he?
Who?
Seth.
Seth's getting there. I got a 2-pronged answer. Gorgeous George and Exotic Adrian Street. There's my answers.
Oh, I see. I would have said Randy Savage myself.
Yeah. Good answer.
Exotic Adrian Street's a great call.
I love Adrian so much. I love Adrian. And, you know, again, I've been very fortunate at the age I'm at to watch a lot of this stuff play out in real time. You know what I mean? Like, I have to go back and look at clips of Gorgeous George, but I saw Ric Flair play out in real time. And I saw Adrian Street play out in real time. And I can tell you that the fun of Adrian Street's matches are not the matches. And they're not even Adrian. It's the crowd. Because if you watch that crowd, Jay, you'll see people go, oh, my God, at each other and look away. And I'm like, wait, when you've got that, you got him, you know? And he had him every night just by doing this and by sashaying. And I'm like, hands down, one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it. Keith says, any interest in the Machine movie? I'm not a big fan of that guy. Can I be honest with you? And I love me some stand-up comedy. What's his name? Bert, what's his name? He always has his shirt off when he does his routine.
Oh, he was the guy who Excalibur got the name of wrong. I'm not really familiar with him. We don't.
Bert Kreischer? Something.
Kreischer, is it?
Yeah. I've seen his stand-up. I'm personally just not a fan. I don't get much out of his routine. Shane says he saw Adrian. I've never seen Adrian work live. That would be cool. That would have been cool to see. Tim says for Double or Nothing pay-per-view, what type of food would y'all serve if you host a tailgate party?
I am going to be cooking a big old bowl of chili tomorrow for her. Probably going to make myself nachos.
I'm so hungry. Like, it's time to have dinner, and that was awesome.
Yeah. The thing is, because when I'm watching it, it's like it starts midnight my time, and they go on a while, don't they? Like, it's probably going to be finishing like 5, 6 a.m.
You gonna watch it live as it happens?
Oh yeah, I'm not working the next day, so I've got nowhere to be. If I was in work, it'd be a completely different story. I did that once. Was it Revolution last year? And it was a terrible idea. So now I just book all the pay-per-views off. But yeah, I'll just stay up and watch it. Eat nachos because it's like the kind of easy thing to eat when I'm like sleepy but still hungry.
Brother, I don't know if I could do chili nachos at midnight. I don't know if my body could handle that.
Keeps you awake. Just the like shock of like the spice. Like, oh yeah, that's it. That's keeping me awake.
Just the shock of it. Your body's like, oh, I'm time to go. Wait, chili, what? And then boom, you're like awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know. I might pass out from that. All right, couple more kids. We're getting out of here. Chris says NXT and Double or Nothing. NXT is Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's head to head with the pre-show, isn't it?
I think so.
And
we didn't even talk about NXT.
I couldn't even tell you what was on the cards. I don't.
Me neither. I haven't watched NXT in years. When they changed it, when I'll be honest with you, when Vince put his hands back on it, I was out. I just couldn't.
As soon as they rebranded it, I tried real hard.
Yeah.
I'm just sad seeing grizzled young veterans not being grizzled young veterans.
Mm. And not for nothing, we always shout out the talent in all these companies. I shout out the talent in NXT. I'm not a fan of a lot of them. And that's not personal. I'm not a fan of a lot of the characters. I'm not a fan of a lot of the angles. That's just me. I'm not a fan of the rebrand. I got mad respect for anybody that climbs between those ropes and tries to earn a living. You know what I mean? I am. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm here for all of it either. It is what it is. Well, kids, there you have it. We're going to call it a day. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Jay, before we split, let everybody know again where they can find the Untitled Wrestling Podcast and you as well.
So we are on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Untitled Wrestling Podcast. We usually put out fantasy booking is on a Monday. Our weekly one is usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when we get to record it. Tomorrow, at some point, we're going to be putting our Double or Nothing predictions. Slight little twist on that as well. At the start, you might want to check that out. We have also got... I'm trying to think what else we've got coming up now. There is some other cool things like down the line that we've got coming. But yeah, just any support is very much appreciated. Whether it's giving us a like, follow, whatever. We appreciate it all.
Absolutely. Jay, thanks again for hanging out, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jay may become a fixture here on Fridays for the main event. We shall see. Working for me, the pay's bad, and I don't offer insurance, just so you know. So
you have dental?
No dental. Yeah. I mean, there's a box of Band-Aids in it for you. That's the extent of my health coverage. There's a box of Band-Aids.
Okay, that'll do.
Cool. Well, there you go. That's all they give us here in the States. You kidding? All right. Jay, thanks again, brother. Talk soon.
Bye.
All right, kids, there you go. The one and only James Luft, also known as Jay Luft, also known as Jam Master Jay. Now I come up with stuff when the show's over. Are you kidding? I got my second win. That's what's happening. Believe that. All right. I'm getting out of here, folks. A gentle reminder about Tom Clark's 6M podcast, movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. It's available on all the major platforms. Please go subscribe. Costs you nothing. None of my content's behind a paywall. You don't got to pay nothing. All right? It's not happening because you probably wouldn't. I'm kidding. My stuff is great. So is the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. Go subscribe. I much appreciate it. It's an awesome show. I really enjoy it. Hopefully you will too. And of course, the main event's available everywhere. It's not just in this glorious pasty white video form. It's also available as an audio pod. So go download, subscribe, and download today. Again, on all the major platforms. You'll be glad you did. It's something for you to do. You and the whole family can enjoy it. It's true. You know you love it. Thanks, kids, for hanging out. Listen, it's Memorial Day here in the States as of Monday, and also holiday in other parts of the world as well. So everybody have a safe, happy, and healthy holiday weekend. Enjoy each other. Be careful out there. Have a great time. Watch some pro wrestling. And we will see you guys back here again next week. We appreciate you very much. We're getting out of here. See you next time. Thanks again, kids. See you next time. Tom Clark's Main Event. Good night, Facebook.